This video is a step-by-step tutorial of how to make the Origami Miura tube, which you can then use to make a bunch of other cool creations. In the description there is a link to a digital template which you can use to print off the folding diagram and follow along in this video.
So I'm going to show you right now how to make the Miura tube. So there's a template that you can download there's a link below the video. So feel free to download this and you can print it out. I printed it on this yellow cardstock and then I just cut out around the outside. So I put it on 11 by 17 because I wanted it a little bigger than usual. But you can print it on different size if you want. This earlier template of mine, I had an extra line here. So if you're following along and you use the template, it shouldn't have this line here. So you can I just don't want it to confuse you while we're doing the tutorial. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold these up. We're going to fold these along these lines here. So it's pretty simple. Just fold over and crease these babies over. So like that. So you want to have these sort of valley folds in between the peaks, and then on the other side you're going to do mountain folds. Okay, there you go, fold it there. Now I'm going to flip it over the other side, and then I keep lining it up. I'm going to line it up this time with the kind of peaks, and we're doing it reverse. So there's a mountain fold now. So mountain folds on the tips. Where the tips are, there should be a mountain fold. Okay, all finished. Next step is I have to fold in these bottom parts right here. So I'm going to fold this up, and I'm just going to fold this down underneath and make a quick groove there. So trust me, it took me a little while. After you've done a bunch of these, I got a little better, but at first this took a while. So there you go. So now you should have a fold that can fold up, and you can just crease it up, and there you go. Pretty easy. So I've got these all folded, so you can scrunch this up and it's all creased like that. Now the next part is the hardest part, in my opinion, but you've got to create a fold right across here with each side. So it's the best thing I've found to do is to fold this paper over like this, like this, and then you gotta fold it, and it's a little insane because you're sort of folding the paper against everything it's sort of that it knows. So so where this was a mountain, it now becomes a valley. This becomes a valley, or excuse me, a mountain, and everything reverses on that half of the paper. But the paper is sort of like, what the heck are you doing? Because it's sort of going against what you had it. And I guess that's sort of the beauty of origami, is it's kind of folding it in ways that never would have been folded. So here we go. It's a little crazy, like I said. Let's got that one. And then, but as you go, it sort of starts folding up. There you go. See how it's slowly complies and you got to be really delicate with it because you don't want to, you can't force it. You just kind of have to slowly push it until it gets all the way in position. Then you can kind of smash it down and crease it hard. But before then, you got to be delicate with it. But man, it took me a while before I got good at getting this to bend the way I want it to bend. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now it's all folded up. There you are. Ready for the next step. Next step is we fold it along this straight line here. So basically, just fold it up. You can score these papers beforehand, and it makes it easier to fold, like score them with like a pencil or something like that. Okay, same on the other side, you got a straight line, fold it up. Okay, there we go. Now, we're ready to make a few cuts here. So now that I have my folds, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a cut right on each of these little creases here. And that's going to allow us to fold those sections in, so it'll give us the shape we want. Next is, this is where it's also can be a little tricky, is we want to fold these areas in, and you can fold them right on those lines that I've got in the template, and make it so, like that, so it's all folded up. And you're slowly going to start forming these. You have to do all of them. Sometimes I just go one direction. Here, I'll just turn around. Show you. So I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I like it to be as close to that line as possible. That. So these take a while, so I'm going to get all these done and then move on to the next step. Okay, all done. Got it all folded. Now is the part where we start gluing it together. And this part takes a little bit of time. It's not hard, but it just takes time. So I use, you could probably try spray glue, but I usually use Elmer's glue. And it's pretty much just a matter of just wiping in here in these little grooves. That's the first thing we're doing, is closing up these grooves, gluing them together, and then there's some other parts we'll have to do after this. So let's do like a handful here, and then smear it around. Make sure it's thoroughly spread, and then basically just clamp it together. And then I usually use clamps, but you can just hold it together, or you could, I don't know, use something else. But I usually just wait a minute or two. Doesn't take very long, and then it's done. So I'll usually do a handful like that, then I'll do the next section. So we gotta do all these sections. So I've got glue all these together, then we gotta glue them all on this side as well. And then we'll move on from there. Okay, I finished gluing these sides, and you can see this sort of taking shape into this tube-like form that we want it to be. The next part is, I realize you have these, now that you've glued, you have these little tabs in here, and if you don't glue those down the side, when you fold it up, they'll actually hit each other inside, and you can't fold it up all the way. So you actually have to glue down these little tabs. And so that's the next part, is gluing the tabs on the inside. So you gotta do it on both sides, on this side and on that side, because if you don't, they're gonna hit each other. Now, if you're in a paper, if you're using paper, maybe it's soft enough it won't, but with the cardstock, they definitely kind of bang against each other. So I'm just gonna put some glue on that, and then glue those down so that they don't pop up. So I gotta do that for there, and then all along there, and then I can move on to the next step. The next step is gluing these down, containing it like that. All right, I finished gluing down these tabs, and we're on to the last step, which is now I just gotta seal this thing shut. So it's basically just taking this edge, overlapping it onto there, and then just gluing that shut. So it should be pretty easy. It's just put a little bit of glue in there, but not too much. You just want to be careful not to glue the thing shut. So because if you don't want to get glue under inside of here, because then you'll completely seal it up. And I had that happen once, and it was kind of a pain. Keep going. I just got to keep going along this entire side until it's all sealed up, and then that's the last step. Okay, done gluing this side. So we're now to my favorite part. This is where we're finished, and we get to open it up. Sometimes you have to put something in there to kind of open it up and get it to expand correctly, because it has to like fold in the right spot. And so the first time, sometimes it takes a little bit, but there we go. Okay, so there we go. That's the cool thing. We got a tube finished, and so we've got several of these, but like they're pretty neat. Tube is complete.
Now watch my other video where we use a bunch of Miura tubes to make other creations like an egg box and a zipper tube.